Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Here we are again, another week, another edition of Hidden Tracks. I have the awesome band CARLY COSGROVE out of Philly. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
So if everyone can hear that, I have all three members of the band on the show this week. So this is going to be, we're going to be calling out a lot of names when we ask some questions, so you can learn a little bit individually about each member. So Lucas, why don't you tell us about how this came together real quick?
Hi, I'm Lucas. I sing and play guitar in CARLY COSGROVE. The band kind of came together, and the timeline's a little issued, but I used to book bands at a local venue in my hometown of Westchester, Pennsylvania, and both of Ty and Helen's respective old bands came through, and I immediately took an interest in jamming with them because I loved how they played, and after a couple of jam sessions, we just felt like it was really clicking. So the band kind of came from that. There were a couple songs here and there that were more or less sales pitches that I'd had stockpiling, maybe one or two. But then from there, we started writing together, and it just felt really, really natural and really, really deliberately just, good. And ever since, it's just gotten better.
Well, let me start by saying this. I'm glad the three of you found each other, because what you provided, not only myself, but lots of other people to listen to, has been, I guess I want to say, a breath of fresh air when it comes to new music, and finding something new that you can attach yourself to. It's exactly what I did with this, where I sat down and I listened to everything over and over and over and over again, and then I pick my top 5 songs and then I share those with people. So I would say, Helen, if no one ever heard the band CARLY COSGROVE and you had to pick one of your songs to play for them, what song of yours would you play for them that would best describe what you are?
I think I would probably pick Really Big Shrimp. I think it has a lot of depth to the song. There's slower parts, faster parts. It's also more complicated playing wise, so it kind of showcases all of our assets, and also very strong lyrically, and is about the band itself. It's about imposter syndrome and Lucas's feelings towards becoming a larger project.
Would you pick the same song, Tyler, or do you have another song that you would share with somebody if they said, play me something that would describe your band?
It's really funny because when you asked Helen that question, I thought to myself, which song would I pick? And yeah, I would probably say Really Big Shrimp would be the best candidate. I also want to say Monk. While I agree with Helen outright with Really Big Shrimp, I think Monk was really big for us and kind of allowing us to figure out where we want to go with the album that we just released. So I would say that is definitely a culmination of kind of, what we like to do with our art,
Yeah. And so in the world that we live in nowadays of the genre label and subgenres and throwing everything out there, I don't want to label a band, so I'll let the band label themselves. Lucas, what would you label your band's genre as?
I like just saying we're just a rock band lately. Towards the beginning, I probably would have called us an emo band. but I feel like if anyone, I feel like emo is such a catch-all now for like we make music with guitars and the lyrics are somewhat heartfelt and visceral. But I feel like, I don't know. I haven't really. Honestly, I'm probably not the best person to answer this question because I don't really think because we pull from so much too,
Yeah.
so much that you wouldn't expect either. So like,
well, there's a lot of sounds coming through with your songs, and I asked that question because I honestly can't pick a genre to put you under because there's so much going on and each song is a little more in depth and it just pulls from everything. That's why I wanted to see if you would pigeonhole yourself in any way, shape, or form.
if I told you that we took inspiration, at least lyrically, from hip hop and show tunes, would you believe us?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We like to call ourselves Nostalgiacore, honestly. And the reason that is aside from the band name and the songs and what it references, a lot of our not only musical but lyrical content comes from stuff we around. I know for me personally, a lot of my drumming's influenced by a lot of the Philly alternative and emo stuff in the early 2000s and 2010s. And I know lyrically, Lucas pulls a lot from stuff from his childhood. So we like to go with Nostalgiacore as a way to describe our music.
It's fitting.
Good. We made it ourselves. So
Good. Copyright it right now.
smart.
So talking about childhood and things of that nature, I'll start with Helen, and then everyone will have the same question. But this is where I think there's two pivotal moments in your life when it comes to music. It's the first time you hear music, and then the second pivotal moment is the first time you find your own music. So, Helen, do you remember your first musical memory?
I don't think I have a specific like point or like day, but I have just like grown up always listening to music because my mom is like just like a really big music fan, so she raised me listening to a lot of like new wave, like punk, like British Invasion, classic rock, like a lot of stuff from like older shit. Like she never really had me like listening to like what most kids my age were listening to. Like I was not into like the Black Eyed Peas or like Hannah Montana or anything. So I do think that like I will always remember like driving around in the car like listening to The Cure and stuff. Um so I would say that's like my probably like my earliest memories. And then as far as my own music, I honestly feel like I have like a specific memory of like when I found like what I really listen to this day. Like I remember driving home from a marching band competition on like the bus with like all the other marching band kids, and it's like some upperclassmen showed me Clairvoyant by The Story So Far, and the song just like blew my mind and I like instantly fell in love with it, and then I listened to everything else by The Story So Far, and they're like still my favorite band to this day. And I was probably like a sophomore in high school when that happened, so I feel like I definitely had my own music taste before that too, but that like really introduced me to like the punk scene.
Nice. Yeah, and I can see that, and I know that happens a lot when you hear something that completely changes your mind about music. You attach yourself to it, and then it kind of never goes away. It's always a part of your life. I mean, I'm an old man now, and I still have the first things that I heard that changed my life are still to this day I consider like those are my favorites, and it's just because of that feeling you had that first time you heard it.
Yeah, I wish I could re-listen to like so much shit and like have that like first listening experience, because it's like never the same after that.
Same.
That's why I spend so much time finding music and bands such as yourself and reaching out to them. I spend hours every day at night just pulling through and listening to so much stuff because I'm constantly in search of that feeling. That's my drug of choice. It's that initial feeling of hearing a song by a band you haven't heard of and it just being like, fuck. That's why when I heard your guys' stuff, the first thing I did was send you an email and say, gotta talk to you.
That's so
yeah,
cool.
thank you.
So, Lucas, how about you?
Oh, well, I grew up with some weird shit. When I was a little kid,
Bad start.
basically, my parents weren't hipsters, but they had hipster friends, so they got all the hipster runoff. My mom would unironically, before the meme, play for me the Sarah McLachlan song "In the Arms of the Angels," like while we were driving. So I think from a young age, I was instilled with like this idea of music is this visceral, emotional thing. Because between that and then my dad loved Martin Sexton, who's this country artist.
I know who he is. He's very talented.
We covered "The Way I Am" at a gig in November.
Nice.
I guess in addition to that, like some of the more zany stuff, like They Might Be Giants was a big part of my childhood too. As well as like the Beatles, because I think my dad loved the Beatles. It's the Beatles. They're kind of everywhere. You can't really escape them. But I think I was always searching for music that gave me that visceral reaction. And there were a lot of times that I thought I found it. I remember when Black Parade came out when I was in second grade and listening to that and being like, oh, I'm so sad and stuff. Like, what did I know? I was in second grade. But I think the first
so many
time,
experiences to pull from.
Yeah. I remember vividly when I was in fourth grade, I watched MTVU in the mornings before I'd go to school because I wanted to know what the college kids were listening to because that was my bag. I wanted to be cool and kind of like figure out what was out there. But I saw the music video for I've Got Friends by Manchester Orchestra when I was in fourth grade. And then maybe 3 years later, I rediscovered them and I heard "Shake It Out" for the first time, really, and then that song I think opened the door for like everything, and that was the first time that I was like, oh, this is what I've been looking for, and this is what music can do. This is music that can make me feel something. This is both powerful and vulnerable at the same time, and then since then, "Mean Everything to Nothing" has become like my favorite record of all time. I'm still searching for music that makes me feel that way, and I'm still having a difficult time finding it. And that's like, that record is like in a shrine somewhere for me. So that's kind of my pivotal record.
Yeah, well, if you're trying to search for something like Manchester Orchestra, I will tell you this much: I've searched long and hard, and they're one of a kind.
Yeah.
And I've seen them perform so many times, and every time I see them, I walk out, and there's really only two bands that I've seen like tons of times that have never disappointed me. And every time I see Manchester, they fucking blow me away. I walk out, I'm like, that was better than the last time I saw them. And that's the type of band that they are.
They only get better. It's a shame.
It's hard for people to try and keep up, and again, that's one of those things where it's, when I mentioned the band Manchester Orchestra, like I had their last tour they did, I bought the T-shirt that looked like a basically a death metal T-shirt that they made with Manchester Orchestra, and someone was like, "What band is that?" I'm like, "It's Manchester Orchestra." They're like, "Yeah, I know, but like, I didn't know you listened to death metal." I'm like, "Well, I listen to everything, and they're not." And I can't believe the person who asked me listens to a lot of music. I'm like, I can't believe you don't know who the fuck they are. Like, and that's what makes it crazy for me about music, because there's so much that people don't know about, and bands like that should be, on par with Foo Fighters touring. You know what I mean? Like, they're just that great of a band, and Annie Hill's that great of a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyler, you're up.
I mean, it's really interesting. I feel like Helen, Lucas, and I have a similar upbringing with music in the sense that we found it through our parents. But I'm realizing now that probably most people is like, have the experience of sitting in the back of a car and, hearing what their, mom or dad plays. So, I learned a lot about David Bowie, when I was really young. And I would say like that was my, that was one of the moments where I, had like a favorite song. But in terms of my own music, there's actually a moment specifically that stands out for me. It was right when I decided to start playing drums. I remember I was in 5th grade, and I joined guitar club because I was like, I want to be a rock star. I want to play guitar. And I get to the classroom that they were holding it in. It was during lunch, and there was like so many people in there. And the teachers that were teaching guitar were like, we have so many people, we don't have enough guitars. Does anyone want to play bass? Because I remember the one of the music teachers that were doing it was a bassist. But at the time, like, and kind of all through my life, I've always wanted to do things like a little different. So I remember telling them, like, asking if I could play drums. And it seemed like they didn't even like realize that was even an option. But I remember the next week, they went out, got funding from the school, and bought a drum kit just for this program. And it was me and one other kid. And I never really touched a drum set before then, but that is kind of what started me creating music, but especially my own music.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that is how I started playing
never
drums.
Told us that. What other secrets do you have?
Look at that. See, this is we're all learning about each other.
I love that.
This is what it's about.
You want to unlock any more core memories, Shane?
Yes, I do. So, so Helen, do you have or remember your first concert you ever attended? Were you dragged to it by your parents or something?
Oh no, I willingly went. My first concert was Weezer with Best Coast opening, and going to a concert was like a very big thing in my family. Like, I think I was in 6th grade, and like I had been begging my mom to bring me to a concert for years because like we just were raised on music, and like I was like wanted to go to one even before that. My mom was like, you need to be older, and that was the first one that we ended up going to. But I remember being so excited, and we ended up standing like off to the side but right up front. It was in Atlantic City, at the Borgata. And we were right like next to these speakers, and I remember being like, holy fuck, well, I didn't say fuck in my head, but holy fuck, it's so loud. How am I going to listen to the rest of this concert? And I just like bared it out, and I had a great time. And I think Rivers Cuomo gave me a high five at some point. It was great.
That's an amazing first show.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Do you have a show your favorite show you've ever been to as of today?
That's a really hard question. Honestly, maybe this is just because this was like so recent, so it's like really fresh on my mind. But I went to the like Knuckle Puck Hot Mulligan tour, like US tour they just finished up recently, and I went to it alone, and I had such an amazing time. And I feel like so before the pandemic, I was like 19, I think. So I was like going to concerts a lot, but I definitely like had some like, like self-confidence to build at the time. And I feel like this was like the first concert where I was really like able to fully enjoy myself and stuff and be like I was just like really let go, and I had like a really fucking fun time.
That's awesome. I go to shows alone a lot, and just because I just need that live experience all the time, and I don't care if I'm alone, but I am older now, but it's just if it's there. I travel a lot for my real job in life, and it affords me the opportunity to just look up wherever I'm staying and be like, all right, who's playing? And it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, it's just, all right, live music, there's a band, all right, $10 to get in, looks like I'm going to see a band. And that's the enjoyments of life. So that's cool that you went experienced it by yourself and had an awesome time.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So Tyler, do you remember your first concert ever?
So I grew up. A lot of my family are musicians. No one big or notable, but I've seen quite a few just like smaller concerts. So I don't necessarily remember my first. I remember my first concert that I went to without a parent though. I was like 14 and I saw the Used play at TLA, which I guess back then they did all ages shows, but TLA in Philadelphia, I guess, for people that aren't in Philly and don't know what that is.
Don't do all ages shows?
Or rather, because like I was like young, I meant like 18 plus.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, I don't know.
But yeah, I was like 13 or 14, and I went to that. Yeah, that was probably my first. My favorite would have been I saw Graham Nash live at a folk festival, and that was like quite the experience seeing him play. Yeah, that'd probably be my top.
Wow, that's cool. And Lucas.
Oh boy.
First big concert I went to was in 2012, the Honda Civic Tour. I saw Blink-182 with Tom DeLonge. I saw My Chemical Romance pre-breakup, and I heard Matt and Kim as I was walking into the venue.
That's a crazy tour.
Yeah, that's a crazy.
They don't make tours like that anymore.
That was the show that got me. I understood Blink-182. In my personal opinion, they blew MCR out of the water. They had 3 people on stage and they made way more noise and sounded way more full than 6 people with MCR. Having been an MCR fan prior was kind of weird, but I was okay with it. And then probably my favorite concerts I ever went to, all 3 of them happened in 2019. It's a 3-way tie for me.
Okay.
Now. It's the Hives at Franklin Music Hall. They played 11 songs. But
you know, and for me they're a very underrated band.
Yeah, the greatest like live experience that I've had. And they were probably in their 40s and they're still doing it. The show ended at like 12:30 a.m.
All right. Well, okay. Take it down a notch with the age call outs, but okay.
No, it's I'm sorry. It's more just comes down to like the fact that they still have the energy to go that hard, and you know like for me I wasn't expecting like running around. Like at one point Pelle Almqvist like parted the Red Sea of people and like ran to the stage from the back of the venue. Like they played Tick Tick Boom for probably 15 minutes of the night. Like it was weird, but it was a lot of fun. That's a band I've been wanting to see live for a long time, because they had the reputation of being just the best live band around, and like that was like there's the attitude, and it's something that I feel like is missing from a lot of stuff. Earlier that year, I saw Weatherbox reunite in Brooklyn, and that was a really big show for me because they informed so much of my guitar playing and a little bit of my lyricism, and they played probably a 300 cap room and sold it out in Brooklyn. And I remember fighting through like a fever, or not a fever, but like a headache and like having to pee the whole time. But, but that was a band that I loved so much and held so dearly. And the fact that they came back, at that point for like a little tiny reunion was like, I need to see this. I need to be a part of this. And I'm glad I was. And then probably my favorite of those 3 is, later that year, seeing Manchester play Mean Everything to Nothing in full, because that record just was so important to me, as we talked about earlier, and getting to see it live was really special.
Awesome. So I'll stick with you, Lucas. What was the name of the very first band you were ever in?
You sound like a super villain.
Yeah.
I was in a band with some elementary school friends, and we could not think of a good band name. The band name was Burnt Rubber.
All right.
That is bad.
All right, Helen, Your turn.
Oh God, we're going around. Oh no.
The first band was started an elementary school cover band called Crusher. And it started in 5th grade, and to this day, I am still very good friends with almost all members. Oops.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. And one of the members is the reason I play bass today, and one of the other members is now dating Tyler. So, funny how life works out.
Yeah. Tyler.
Yeah. I was in a band in like high school, so it's not even like I can't even be like, oh, I was a little kid.
Excuse.
Yeah, this is bad.
Can't be worse than Brett Robert.
Yep. So the band was called Feel Right Audio. But wait, ready for this? The right was spelled RITE.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
Yeah, we were hardcore then.
They were
you're.
They covered a lot of Switchfoot and Family Force 5.
Vertical Horizon.
Oh my god.
All right. So, Tyler, let's continue with you.
Sure.
What band in your life has never let you down?
Wow.
Ooh.
That's a hard question.
That's a question I don't think I've ever been asked that before.
Because people usually phrase it as like your favorite band, but I don't like to look at it that way. I look at a band that I can always count on. A band that even if they're not together anymore, just their music's still there, and I can always count on everything they put out to just be what I need in my life at that time.
All right. Oh, man. So I have an answer, but it's really not an answer because I don't like their latest stuff. Okay, can I give you one answer that kind of answers the question and then another answer that's like a very local band?
Absolutely. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's your time. You're answering the question.
So the one that stands out is the band Fiddler. I was a huge fan of theirs, and I've seen them live a few times, and they just put on such like an energetic show. And at the time I was getting into them, like I was just like, pretty like teen angsty. I just wanted to rage, and they just like curated just such a good like emotion that captures that. And I think it informed a lot of my drum playing. I was really into like a lot of surf rock and surf punk when I was in high school. But to be honest with you, a band that has just never let me down is our good friends in Elephant Jake. They're a band from New York that are now based in Philly. They just have one of the best live shows I've ever seen in my entire life. And they, I've seen them play to empty rooms, and they play better in an empty room than I've seen some bands play on huge stages. So like I would say, as far as a band that will never let me down, like I know if I go to an Elephant Jake show, I'm having like an amazing time.
Awesome.
Good answer.
Lucas, how about you?
There's a local band in Philly / also Rochester, New York called 22 Degree Halo. And they're kind of in the slowcore Alex G kind of circuit of things in terms of sound. They were one of the first bands I saw when I started going to college at Temple when I was in Philly. I like one of my first house shows. And they were like the first band that I saw where I was like, oh, like this is like, the kind of music I was really searching for, where it was something that was really serious. And, that was the band I probably listened to at my lowest points. So, I mean, I think their newest record, which I've got on vinyl now, is a little more uplifting than the EP they put out when they were called a different thing. And, I've gotten to see them live a couple times, but not very often. It's kind of a rare thing. But as far as recorded output, like they don't miss. Like they've kind of, again, it's just stuff that resonates with me, and it puts me in a very, very specific mood.
Awesome. Helen.
I think I'm gonna have to say the Wonder Years. I'm kind of interpreting this as like a band that will always be there for me, and I feel like so far in my life they've always been there for me. Like I discovered them when I was in high school, and I feel like their music at the time like was really what I needed then, like, and they have a good range. Like there's a lot of more like somber stuff, and there's a lot of more like faster paced, energetic, almost like angry kind of music. And even like their more recent stuff, like Sister Cities, I feel like is still very relevant to like my life right now. And so they've kind of like, I still always come back to them and am like, wow, this really hits, and like still brings out emotion in me, and that's really what I look for in music. They've always kind of been relevant. Yeah, they've never failed me.
There's a point, a very special day in a lot of people's lives, and it's usually the day you get your driver's license, and you go to pick up a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, anyone. You just go to pick them up because you got your license, and it's a cool day. Lucas, do you remember what you were listening to when you went to pick somebody up the day you got your driver's license?
No.
Whoa.
Not at all.
That's a crazy question, because I like literally do. That's so funny.
You do?
Oh my god, I like 100%.
don't.
I know exactly what I was listening to.
Then answer it.
Oh man, I was listening to, oh my god, I was listening to like, I can't tell you the exact song, but it was the first Lil Uzi EP. I think it was Love Is Rage.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I remember like, oh my god, that's so funny, because I remember I got my license, got home, peeled off, and picked up my girlfriend at the time. And like, the emotion you like described in that question is exactly how I felt listening to that. That's so funny.
Do you remember, Helen?
I'm trying to think. I feel like, okay, I remember I got my license the end of my junior year of high school, because I was really young for my age, and I used to really be like attached to music that I learned through cars. And so like the person who drove me to school when I was a junior in high school, because only the seniors could drive, like he doesn't even know this, but his like what he used to play at like 7 a.m. had a huge influence on me. So I would say I think I was listening to Chance the Rapper.
Hell yeah.
Like what was it, The Coloring Book, or fuck,
The Big Day.
What, acid
not
rap?
The Big Day. No, probably not acid rap. I would say probably, yeah, Chance the Rapper. Probably Sunday Candy. If you guys know that song that Chance is on. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
All right.
I think I had a playlist with some TT&G songs on it that I was probably listening to when I got my license.
Yeah, I was trying to, like, what would make me, like, because I'd be so excited.
Yeah.
You have to have, like, the perfect, like, feel-good, like, music for the drive.
That's why I put on Lil Uzi, because I was like, yo, I'm about to, like, test out these speakers.
It's fucking hype.
Yeah.
It's fucking hype right now.
It's a very important day in your life, and that's, you know, the next day. The next important day is the day you can legally drink. So, I mean, that driver's license music is huge. The day you're allowed to legally drink, it doesn't really matter what's playing at all. So, now, Helen, is there something that someone would be really surprised that you listen to that you get a lot of enjoyment out of? Sometimes they're classified as guilty pleasures. I just call them pleasures now, but something that someone would be really surprised that you listen to and you absolutely get tons of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Tyler's like so gonna roast me.
I know.
Yeah, my top artist of what was the last year, 2021, that we just finished? Was Casey Musgraves, who's a country pop artist.
Oh, no, she's great.
Yeah, she's great.
You'll follow your arrow wherever it
Yeah,
floats.
I think that her music's phenomenal. My girlfriend put me onto that, and I would have never listened to it otherwise. She's also made me listen to a lot of Taylor Swift. That, honestly, Taylor Swift's an amazing songwriter. Besides that, I don't know, I like ska.
All right, there's nothing wrong with anything you just said. So, but it's just something that someone would be surprised. So. Yeah, and Casey Musgraves, listen, I got to give credit where credit's due. She's a great songwriter, and
she's out here.
She's out here for sure.
So, Tyler, how about you?
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, definitely not a guilty pleasure, but people would probably be surprised just given like the music we play. I'm into a lot of like R&B. I really like this artist Summer Walker. I would actually go as far as to say I'm a Summer Walker stan. I pretty much know every lyric to every song she's put out, including some of like her demo stuff. I remember when Spotify did the thing where it's like, if you listen to an artist, they send you a notification that was like, you're in the top 10%. I remember, this is a pretty big artist. I was in the top 2% of Summer Walker listeners on all of Spotify. So yeah, I would say that was definitely my artist, but I like a lot of R&B. Big fan of like Janae Anko, SZA as well. I could like go on forever, honestly, but yeah, Summer Walker is a big one.
All right. Lucas, how about you?
Oh, there's a lot I could say. I could probably talk about how I like love a lot of jazz because I went to school for it. But I think probably if we're gonna go guilty pleasures, EDM.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
My favorite EDM artist is this DJ named Alban Myers, who makes just fun stuff. Also Dioro. I think Cascade's pretty good too, although I don't know very much of their work. I like some of the more like kind of, I guess, bubblegum poppy stuff too. Like Slater is fun for me as well. But it's really just like kind of pick and choose the songs that I just kind of spam on my Spotify every once in a while. But yeah, that's it for me.
All right.
I realized I have an artist that I didn't say that I should have.
Who?
This is the first time I ever talked about this on like a podcast, but I'm Fish, the band.
Oh,
Fish.
Yeah, this dude is such a fish head.
Wow.
Not only do I know a lot of Fish, but I go to like a lot of Fish concerts, like quite a bit.
Can I ask you
the band
why?
I've seen the most out of any band.
Yeah.
Are you sure you just don't like drugs?
I also
Yeah.
If there correlation and causation, there's all that. I also like drugs, so maybe maybe there's some correlation.
I'm probably the most sober EDM fan. I've not gone to.
That's true.
And it's not like he's sober, but for EDM standards,
I have not.
maybe.
I have not taken any of like the weird drugs. I've not gone to Electric Daisy Carnival or Hijinks. Like I'm not going to go. Maybe I'll go.
You can appreciate it.
If Alban Myers is playing Hijinks, I'll go to Hijinks. But I'm not leaving the city for anyone.
I think that's fair. It takes a lot to leave the city for a show.
Rave culture is crazy. Although I also really like a lot of the more experimental like IDM stuff. Like I got turned on to Venetian snares recently. Also just like a lot of like breakcore stuff and like Aphex Twin and all that good stuff too.
And what draws you to that?
It's I think mostly rhythm, honestly. I think that people a lot of times underestimate like the rhythmic complexity to EDM, but also like I think the timbral complexity. Like a lot of it's kind of honestly this isn't all music, but I think it's we talked about it a lot in jazz school, like kind of figuring out where instruments resided in the course of like and how like different instruments and people like kind of perceive time. Whereas in jazz, like the bassist would push the time a lot, and the horns, pianist, vocalist would lay back a lot. I think people don't really talk about how that kind of applies to like other styles of music. So I think what really interested me with EDM was like, how they use like stuff like sidechain compression to kind of like keep the kick and the bass out of each other's spaces and like create like the loudest fucking sounds possible and play with rhythm in a way that's really unique. Stromae, this French artist who's not really in the EDM world so much, I don't think, but like more in the pop world, also does this and like kind of manipulates stuff a lot. Same for someone like Cosmo Sheldrake, who samples a lot of nature and then puts that in their music.
Right.
There's a lot of cool stuff that's out there. You just gotta kind of find it.
So, Tyler, can you wax poetically and intelligently enough about Fish to answer a question just like Lucas did, or no?
What was the question again? What draws me to them?
Yeah. Can you answer and I'm sorry, I don't mean to shit on. Actually, I do, because I just
I fully support this.
because it makes no fucking sense. Like, for me, music has to make sense. Like, there
Okay.
has to, like and I've gotten arguments a lot about this, but it just doesn't make sense. There's nothing that I have found trying, because I try. I do a rule of 5. I have 5 ways I listen to music to try and see if any of those 5 ways hit, and if it doesn't, then it just doesn't make sense. Like, there's bands I don't like that I understand. Like, it makes sense why people love them, and a band like Fish, to me, for some reason, doesn't make sense. Can you explain it to me, why it should make sense to me, and how I can like it?
Drugs.
All right.
No, but it's honestly like a fair point. Before I got into Fish, I would have had this exact same opinion. It takes a little bit to like a band like that, but I think it's like the energy that it curates. I only really listen to their live stuff. I don't really listen to any of their records. Because I think the art of it is in the live show. You know, that's why they could play, 5 sold out consecutive MSG shows.
Yeah, and the shows last for 5 hours too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's I think what it really comes down to is they have such a cool live show. And there's a lot of, oh man, it's so weird. There's a lot of like lore behind the band as well. They never repeat a set list, so people will follow around this band, for an entire year, hoping they would play one single song that they've never heard live. It's really interesting. I have gone to a lot of music festivals in my life, and I really like the audience and the sense of community that comes with that. And I think Fish is an extension where I get that festival vibe, but it doesn't have to happen on just weekends in the summer. I recently saw Fish at MSG on New Year's. So that, I get a little bit of that energy, in other settings, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. I'll take your word for
it. Fair enough.
All right. Good to start with you, Helen. Here's the question, and then it'll go to everybody else, and everyone else will have more time to think about it. Meteor's coming to crash on the Earth. You got 5 minutes left to live, and you have to listen to one song. What song would it be?
Oh shit,
that's a really good question. I feel like my answer might be a song I've already talked about, so I'm trying to be like, come on, you're deeper than that.
Do you need time? I already have mine. If you need time.
Yeah, Tyler, you go.
All right. So this was I thought of this in a second. 5 Years by David Bowie, just because that song literally is about the world ending. And it's just like, I don't know, if I'm going to go out, that is such a beautiful way to go out. Just like about how like everything's fucked, everyone's scared, but like look at all the beautiful people and we're going to try our best. So I would say probably that.
All right, that was a more in-depth answer than the Fish stuff. So
true.
I like Peter Gabriel's rendition of "Heroes" by David Bowie a lot.
Ooh, good choice.
But that's maybe like one of my two. The other one is there's this M83 song. It's a French title off "Hurry Up We're Dreaming," where it's like the whole thing is like there's like a dialogue of like this little kid talking about like being a frog. I've heard that while driving, and I've been like, "Wow, I could die to this," because it's just kind of like it's this weirdly existentialist simplicity. Like, what if we were all just frogs? It's very funny to be a frog. Nothing makes sense, but like you can be a community, and wouldn't it be great if life were this simple? Like one of those kinds of things.
I like that.
I like that too.
Back to you. Ribs by Lord.
Ooh,
yeah. That's like one of my go-to, like, man, life's changing, it's getting crazy, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, getting older and you just gotta like face the music. I feel like it'd be a pretty solid finale, just kind of like accepting, like, you know, you're getting older and you're gonna die, and well, here we go. And it's also, I think I'd want my last few moments to be something that like brings out a lot of emotion. That's always been like a very cathartic song for me.
Yeah, and speaking of emotion, what's the last song you cried to?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I think I know mine. And it's funny because
I like
Lucas. Oh my god, this is funny. So Lucas showed me this song, and Helen was present for me crying.
I remember this. I was like, why the fuck are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, it's My Backwards Walk by Frightened Rabbit. I remember I was just at a bad point, and I was just like, yep, I'm gonna cry, and I put that song on. And Helen like walked in on me like, what the fuck are you doing?
I was like, why are you making this worse for yourself by listening to this extremely depressing song?
I've cried to that song too.
Yeah.
Listen, I've cried to a lot of Frightened Rabbit. I'm literally holding in my hand my birthday gift from my wife, and it's Scott Hutchinson's lyric book.
Aww, that's
wow.
really sweet.
Yeah,
I love Scott Hutchinson. I wish that the world would take Morrissey and give us Scott Hutchinson back.
They can take Morrissey just for fun.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm with you. I was at his very last show in New York City.
Oh shit!
I've seen him so many times. They're just one of those. They're a transcendent band for me. Like it's one of those things. I had a relationship with Frightened Rabbit. Like it was a weird band for me that I just had this crazy relationship with them, and it was as soon as I heard they couldn't find him, I was like, he's gone. I'm like, if you listen to the last album, he's gone.
Damn.
And we
If you listen
have
to
to
the
be
first
ready
album,
for it.
he's gone. Like, I mean, I like everyone's kind of dissecting. I mean, my record of theirs is Midnight Organ Fight because that's like the one that got me. And listening to Floating in the Fourth, you're like, oh, that's how he's going to do it. That's how he did it. Like, I also have a weird relationship with that band because I didn't really get into them until I think the year anniversary was Death. And I was up at 3 a.m. and life just sucked and I cried it out and it kind of changed who I was. The last song I cried to, though, was a song called New Music by a band called Another Michael.
Oh, yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah, that song is sad.
And that got me good.
Nice.
Helen?
The last song, I think this is actually accurate. I think this is a little weird. I was driving to work and I was listening to a playlist I have that is all like acoustic pop punk songs. So it's like all of like the acoustic The Story So Far songs, like all of the acoustic Knuckle Puck songs, like all of the acoustic One of Your songs. And it also has the recent lo-fi versions of like The Story So Far, like Can't Swim on it. And I was listening to like the lo-fi version of Clairvoyant by The Story So Far. I listen to this a lot when I'm like feeling like really anxious. Like for some reason it like calms me down. So I was just like not having like a good week. And I was driving to work, and I'm a dog groomer, and so like me and my coworkers are all very close with animals. And one of my coworkers texted in the group chat that her like literal like practically child, her dog of like 13 years, she like had to put him down like the night before. As I was like listening to that song, and it just like made me cry, and I was like, it was just like the lo-fi version, but I was like, I always like sing along the lyrics in my head, even though they don't say them. And it was just like, I don't know, I just like really imagine like what she must be going through. Cause like, yeah, it's just like really hard.
It's hard. I had to put my best friend down in November. She was my shadow, and I have a 15-year-old who's paralyzed, and he is. What sucks is there's this artist William Fitzsimmons. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he has this voice that is so calming, and I just always say he just has honey in his voice. It's just the most smoothest, beautiful thing. The problem is when I have to put down my guy, I can never listen to William Fitzsimmons again because it is his music. It calms him down no matter what. I put it on and he just goes to sleep. And I'm like, I'm just lost an artist that I love because I'll never be able to listen to it again.
Yeah, that's the worst, man.
Yeah.
That association. I mean, when you associate music with something like it, it'll get you.
Yeah.
It really creates that tie.
All right, so let's pick this up a tiny bit. And now that we've gone down the sad road, let's go to the happy road. What's next for Carly Cosgrove? What do you guys have coming up? What can we look forward to besides See You in Chemistry, which came out in March, which is fucking dynamite, and I implore everyone listening to the show to go listen to that fucking album.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
But what do you have on planned for the summer or the fall coming up?
So we have later in June, we are going on tour with Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties, which we are super psyched about. Love that band, love everything that Soupy does. Very, very hyped to be a part of that tour. That's gonna be fun. We're gonna be playing the TLA in Philly, which will be our biggest Philly show yet. Maybe our biggest show yet.
Yeah, biggest show we've ever done.
So that's gonna be really fun. And then we're doing another run this summer that's like just us, and then we're playing with like a bunch of like hand-picked locals in each city that we're all fans of. So we're gonna play with like a bunch of our friends that we've been looking forward to. And then later in the summer, are we giving away some of our?
I'm fine with it if you're fine with it.
Go. Yeah, let's do it. Who cares?
We are planning a little acoustic album, with a video session to go along, and we're super stoked on that because we really like to reinvent our songs in different ways, and our acoustic shit sounds flames.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then hopefully more touring in the fall.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I will look for you when you're around, and I will be there no matter what. So,
thank you very much.
Right on.
What are you up to this summer?
This summer, just a bunch of shows lined up. That's pretty much that's my life outside of my everyday job. It's everything encompassed by music. So
that's awesome.
Beautiful.
So. I don't know who wants to throw this out there, but if you guys give you the opportunity to tell everyone how to find everything that you guys do, all your handles, all your socials, all that fucking jazz that everybody has to be a part of.
Yeah, so all of our ats are at Carly Cosgrove PA. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Follow us for shows, merch, music. I mean, we're on every platform. Just put out an album, See You in Chemistry, on Wax Bodega. Got more shit planned. We've got like a bunch of opportunities to see us this summer. So, any of our socials, like the link in the bio, have tour dates.
Slide through.
Yeah, slide through. We want
say
to
hi.
Yeah, we want to see people live. If you discovered us through this podcast, come say hi and we'll shake your hand.
We'll shake your hand.
Shake your hand.
With gloves on and sanitizer right behind it, because who knows?
And
yes.
Yeah.
I will grow my arms to be 6 feet long so that we can do it.
But so we're coming into our last segment here. So everybody pull up your Spotify playlist or however you listen to your music, because we are now in our weekly 3 segment. This is where you guys first appeared in a weekly 3s that I had. It's 3 things you're listening to right now that you would like people to check out.
Okay.
So whoever would want to go first, it seems like Tyler's always the quickest. So Tyler.
I
think he's not. I don't know.
I actually don't have my phone in front of me, but I could go anyway. I just got a quick mind, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but in terms of what I've been listening to a lot, I have shouted this band out so many times, but I'm gonna do it again. There's this experimental pop synth group called Cowbells. If you know the band Rubble Bucket, it's the front person's side project. Super cool pop music, just doing stuff that just like hasn't been done before, which is like crazy to even say. But I really like them. I've been listening to a lot of Benny the Butcher. It's part of rap group Griselda. And then a third one. The new Sweet Pill project. Honestly, I've been listening to that.
Yeah.
I've been listening to that album like crazy. They really just did it up. I can't believe how good of an album that is. So I would say that was my third one.
Awesome. Next, who's ready?
Are you ready, Lucas?
I'm ready. I'm gonna do the top three. Some of the three most recent songs are my liked songs. The song I've been listening to the most lately is the song "I Want to Be Your Lover" by Prince.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Because I just worked a Prince tribute band show, and it was on the brain. And then the song "Simon Says" by Pharaoh Monch for some reason. And then Venetian Snares. How'd you know?
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Those are my three.
Okay.
Awesome.
My three, I'm going to say the No Pressure LP that came out today. Super good. Was super stoked on that. I've been listening to a lot of new wave recently. Like, had on repeat Save It for Later by the English Beat. I was like dancing to it at like 7 a.m. this morning. Very good song. And then the 2016 album Evermore by Home Safe, which is also who we met on tour with Knuckle Puck over the winter. Ryan from Knuckle Puck's other project. That album I listened to like when it first came out. Super good. Always go back to it.
It's a great album.
Yeah, it's just
Great.
like a classic in my head. It's like
Yeah.
one of those like there like so many good like pop punk post hardcore-ish albums dropped like 2015, 2016. That's like one of the greats in my opinion.
Yeah, and my so you're like new wave. My entire I should shoot you my playlist because my Memorial Day playlist is just straight 80s new wave. Like it's
Oh,
just
I love that.
that's just all that it is. Because I'm like, for some reason, it just makes me happy.
Yeah, it makes me so happy too. It reminds me a lot of my childhood. It's so good.
Awesome. So my three for this week. First one is a band called Least. They dropped a new song.
I know them.
Yeah, dropped a new song recently called "Sitting in the Best Light." It's a fucking killer track. Check that out. Next is a band called Miss Vincent. They have an LP called "A Funeral for Youth." It is just a poppy, punky. It brings me back to like 90s pop punk, I guess, like a Super Drag, stuff like that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh.
And then last but not least is a band called Down Memory Lane. The album's called Breathing. Montreal Canadian punk band for fans of, I'll put it out there, Lagwagon, No Use for a Name, Strung Out. Very similar to that very fast-paced punk rock with melodies and just great vocalists. So those are my three for this week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But Lucas, Helen, Tyler, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate you being here this week. And thank you so much for the music you've given me. There's just certain songs that for some reason I can't get enough of. And I love the fact that my favorite song is your least listened to song, which is weird, but I always find that Diamond in the Rough on Spotify.
Is
that Chowder?
Chowder.
Yeah.
Good choice,
Yeah,
my
it's
friend.
very
Good
good.
choice.
I absolutely love that song. So that's
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. This has been like such a blast.
Yeah, we've been having a great time. Amazing questions, by the way.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
learning.
very,
We're learning more about
very
each other.
in-depth.
It kind of puts it into perspective.
Wow, so beautiful.
well, this is what music does. It creates a community and a bond between people, and you find out new things that you may have never known, and that just brings you closer together. So I appreciate you guys sharing, your most intimate secrets on this show. It's very fun, and listen, our goal, we'll get you one fan, and then after that it grows. So
Right on.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
but everybody out there in the world, you know what to do next. You go out, listen to Carly Cosgrove, and have a great fucking time.
When the corners of the tomorrow morning and throw it away. I tried to find your manifesto on a library desktop. You commented for yourself in glory, and I'm in the way. You said, I know you, I hate you, I'm not what you're all about. I know that you're not gonna get it, so just get out. I don't have the answers, I just hate to go outside. Don't make it your life, don't make it your life. Don't make it your life. I was spat out on suburban roads of San Diego, into hedge maze and driveways alike. And I paced about it aimlessly to gain some ground, without landmarks, no end in sight. I have no map, no phone, least of all a clue of where to go or what to do. 'Cause I wrapped you up beneath us when you shook the ground beneath us, and I overdrafted faith in you. I used to think I trailed so far behind you, but you kept me optimistic on the tour. So I traveled to this mountaintop to find you, just to shrug as you showed me the door. So I wandered round suburban roads in San Diego, and I tried and failed to find my flight back home. So you might feel disrespected, but I can't follow without directions. If you can't show me the way, I'll find my home. my skin is thin. I don't display it in the sun. I just hope that one by one you can set your reservations aside and fall in love. And feel I've overstayed, I can go away, I'll go away. Cause I know how I invade in spite of good intentions made. I should just go away. I'll stay firm and apprehensive until I'm sure that every hand intends to catch me. Because it only takes a single hand to scratch me. And isolation keeps my skin intact. I'll stay back, aloof and boring. When the claws come out, I won't be ready for it. Don't worry, I'll be okay in the morning. Don't worry, I won't make you deal with that.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions to myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band. And don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.